So, we're done discussing job order costing. This time naman, dun tayo sa other costing procedure which is process costing. So, we define process costing as a costing system where cost is accumulated by departments or processes. Adapted siya for products manufactured under continuous processing. And yung mga products nga na to ay tinatawag natin na mga homogeneous products. Meron silang pare-parehong attributes. Kumpara sa job order costing kung saan ang mga products na minamanufacture ay may kanya-kanyang specific characteristics. Kumbaga, magkakaiba sila ng specification. For process costing, pare-pareho ng specification yung pinoproduce na products. Other than that, ito pa yung iba pang differences between job order costing and process costing. Isa na nga doon is pagdating sa cost accumulation, under job order costing, ginagawa siya by job orders. Remember yung gumawa pa nga tayo ng job cost sheet per customer order. At paano naman kapag process costing? Ito naman by departments or processes. Yung products under process costing, dumadaan siya into several processes in different departments bago siya tuluyang ma-complete. Kailan naman kino-compute yung unit cost? So, under job order costing, again, dun sa cost sheet na inaral natin, remember this one? So, once na completed na yung product, saka natin nako-compute yung cost per unit. What about sa process costing? Under process costing, ginagawa yung computation ng cost per unit at the end of the costing period, which is usually a month, isang buwan. Subsidiary record for work in process. Ayan. Under job order costing, ito yung job order cost sheet. So, yung balance ng work in process, dapat supported siya ng job order cost sheets. Under process costing naman, yan ay cost of production report. Tinatawag din tong departmental cost sheets. Ito naman yung nagsusupport sa work in process account ng bawat department. So, ano yung pinagkaiba ng accounting under job order costing and process costing? Actually, almost similar lang sila. Ang pagkakaiba lang nila, si process costing, marami siyang work in process account. Depende kung ilan yung kanyang processing departments. So kapag tapos nang i-process ng isang department, ililipat na yon into another department hanggang sa makompleto and mabenta. Aside from that, when it comes to cost computation, unit cost computation, under job order costing, we computed this as product cost per job divided by the number per units. Ginawa nyo na yan sa cost sheet, remember? So, ito siya. Total factory cost consisting of direct materials, direct labor, applied factory overhead. Yung total, divide mo by quantity per cost sheet. Then saka mo makukuha yung cost per unit. Dito naman sa process costing, you need to create an equivalent units of production. Gagawa ka ng schedule nito. Ano itong equivalent units of production? It refers on the work done on the product during the manufacturing period. Later on, magbibigay tayo ng examples para malaman ninyo kung paano ginagawa itong schedule of equivalent units of production. Saka kung paano mo siya ipapakita sa cost of production report. To give you an example, let us answer this problem. Problem number 1. So let's read. The product of yellow manufacturing co is processed in 2 consecutive departments, A and B. The company uses FIFO, meaning first in, first out. So yung unang na-purchase na materials na nadala sa production, sila yung unang nako-complete. Yung pinakalas naman na na-purchase, sila yung natitira sa inventory. And the production data for March 2021 are as follows. So we're given the quantity data, the work in process beginning, the stage of completion of work in process beginning, as well as the placing process and work in process ending. And then yung cost data niya for the month, work in process beginning, 3,050 and 25,050. 25,020. And then yung mga factory cost during the month. Ang required sa'yo is journal entries, equivalent of production, cost of production report, saka how much is the cost of the total units transferred out in each department. Sa una, ilagay muna natin yung balances ng work in process. So, na-mention ko nga, ang pagkakaiba lang ng process costing from job order costing is that when it comes to journal entries, you will use more than one work in process inventory account. Depende sa bilang ng department. So, since si Yellow Manufacturing ko, meron siyang departments A and B, so we have work in process inventory department A and work in process department B. So, on March 1, ito yung mga balances. For work in process department A, ang cost ng March 1 work in process is 3,050. For department B, March 1, 25,020. And then before tayo mag-proceed sa journal entries, gawa muna tayo ng equivalent of production sa cost of production report. Kasi mula din sa cost of production report, dun mo kukunin yung iyong journal entry para sa cost na matatransfer from Department A to Department B. Requirement 2, equivalent production. Una muna, kukumpitin mo yung units to be accounted for. Start ka muna sa work in process March 1 or work in process beginning. So, work in process March 1. Ilan yung actual number of units? That is 1,000 units under Department A. And then, yung placed in process, during the month is 10,000 units. Ang total units to be accounted for mo would be units to be accounted for is 11,000 plus 10,000. Sorry, 1,000 pala plus 10,000. You get 11,000 units to be accounted for. And then, kukunin mo yung equivalent production ng 11,000. Depende kung magkano yung work done sa kanya during the month. How much was the work done for these 11,000 units? Unahin na muna natin yung work in process March 1. So, following yung FIFO. First in, first out. Yung mga unang napunta sa work in process, kagaya nitong work in process March 1, sila yung unang natatapos sa production. So, malamang during the month, si work in process beginning na 1,000 units, kasama na siya sa na-complete and na-transfer from Department A to Department B. So, write mo, work in process, March 1, finished, and transferred. Ilang units siya? Yan ay 1,000 units. How much is the work done for work in process? Sabi ng problem, ang stage of completion daw ng work in process March 1 at the beginning was 20%. If 20% na siya nung March 1, ilan na lang yung work done sa kanya during the March para makomplete siya? Yun ay 100% minus 20%, that would be 80%. Minus 20%, 80% yung work done sa kanya during the March. So, 1,000 units times 80%, you get the equivalent units for the 1,000 work in process beginning, which is 800 units. Next naman yung placed in process. Ilan yung finish and transferred mula sa placed in process? Una muna, take note na at the end of the month, merong binigay na work in process March 31. So, following yung FIFO, saan nanggaling yung March 31 na work in process? Yan ay nanggaling dun sa placed in process during the month, which is 10,000 units. Okay? So, kung galing siya dun sa 10,000 units, ilan yung placed in process na sinimulan sa March, natapos din sa March? Computin natin yan. So, placed in process, finished, and transferred. Simple lang. Diba? Placed in process during the month is 10,000. Ang natira lang dyan is 500 units. So, 10,000 less 500, you get the units completed mula dun sa placed in process during the month, which is 9,500. Yung ibang paraan naman, kumpitin mo lahat ng natapos during the month. So, units to be accounted for, yung lahat-lahat, 11,000 less 500, yan ay 10,500. Ngayon, yung following FIFO, malamang dito sa 10,500 na na-complete, kasama na dyan yung work in process beginning. So, ilan na lang yung nanggaling sa place in process. Subtract mo lang yung 1,000 mula dun sa total na finish and transferred na 10,500. You will also get 9,500. Pareho lang. If si place in process, sinimulan siya March. Natapos din siya March. How much is the work done for the place in process? That would be 100%. Get the equivalent production, 9,500 multiplied by 100%, you get 9,500. And then lastly, yung work in process March 31. Siya yung natira sa work in process account. 500 units. Yung actual. How much is the work done for 500 units? Binigay na ni problem. At the end of the March 31, 80% complete na siya. So, write mo yung 80%. So, 500 times 80%, 400 units. Let's get the totals. Don't get confused kasi nakita yung 80% pareho. Yung work in process beginning na work done, nanggaling siya dun sa 100% minus yung 20% na stage of completion niya at the beginning of the month. Kaya nakuha yung 80%. Yung 80% naman na to na March 31, yan na mismo yung stage of completion ng March 31 work in process at the end of the month. Yan na rin mismo yung work done sa kanya during the month. Samantalang for work in process beginning, yun ay since 20% complete na siya at the beginning of the month, ang work done lang sa kanya during March is 80%. That is 100% minus 20%. So, yung units accounted for mo, under actual, this should be the same as the one above. 1,000 plus 9,500 plus 500. Dapat equal siya dito sa units to be accounted for. So, check mo. 11,000 minus 11,000. So, correct naman. And then, yung equivalent production ng 11,000 na yan, that is 800 plus 9,500 plus 400. We get 10,700. So, after you created the equivalent production for Department A, proceed ka naman sa paggawa ng cost of production report for Department A. So, ito yung statement format for cost of production report. Merong cost to be accounted for and cost to be accounted for as follow, consisting of the cost during the month and i-reflect mo din dito yung units na completed as well as yung mga unit costs. So, start na tayo. Factory cost during the month for direct materials under Department A, that is 53,500. Direct labor, 21,400. Factory overhead, 32,100. Let's get the total. 53,000 plus 21,400 plus 32,100. 107,000. And then, add mo yung cost ng work in process beginning March 1 under Department A. 3,050. Let's get the total cost to be accounted for. 107,000 plus 3,050. So, 110,050. And then, kunin din natin yung unit cost ng bawat factory cost. Direct materials, direct labor, factory overhead. I-divide lang natin siya by the equivalent production, 10,700. So, divided by 25,000, no. Ang na-compute natin na equivalent production is 10,700. So, divided by 10,700. Ang unit cost per factory cost would be 53,500 divided by 10,700. So, 5 pesos mula sa direct materials. And then from direct labor, 2 pesos. From factory overhead, 3 pesos. Magkano yung total unit cost? Ang basis mo is factory cost. That would be 5 pesos plus 2 plus 3. You get 10 pesos per unit. Cost accounted for as follows. Finish and transferred. Ilan nga ba yung na-compute natin? Yun ay 10,500. 11,000 na total units during the month. Less yung 500 units na work in process ending. So, ang total is 10,500. Nagko-comprise siya ng 1,000 units mula sa work in process beginning, saka 9,500 units mula sa place in process during the month. So, write natin yung 10,500 units. Unahin muna natin computein yung work in process March 1. So, work in process March 1, finish and transferred. Ilang units ulit yon? Yun ay 1,000 units. Magkano yung cost niya last month? Yan yung cost as of March 1, work in process, which is 3,050. Ito yun. Magkano naman yung kanyang cost added during the month? Kukomputin pa natin to. Equal siya sa ilan yung actual units? 1,000 units. Multiply by the stage of completion or work done during the month. Ilang percent na ba yun? Yun ay 80%. So, multiply by 80%. And then, multiply mo siya dun sa na-compute mo na total factory cost per unit, which is 10 pesos. So, gamitin natin yung solution na yan. 1,000 times 80% times 10 pesos. You get 8,000 pesos. Kunin mo yung total. 3,050 plus 8,000. You get 11,050. Next naman is yung placed in process, finish, and transferred. Ilang units siya? Dagdagan natin ng column. I-transfer natin to para mas malinaw siya, mas madali siyang maintindihan. Ilang units naman yung natapos and nalipat sa Department B mula sa Department A. So, tingin ka ulit dun sa equivalent production, yan ay 9,500 units. Magkano yung cost niya? So, ang cost niya would be 9,500 units multiply by stage of completion or work done during March, yun ay 100%. So, multiply by 100% times yung unit cost na na-complete mo, 10 pesos. So, let's compute. 9,500 times 100% times 10, 95,000. Magkano yung total cost transferred out? Ito yung cost ng goods na na-transfer mula sa Department A papunta sa Department B. Yun ay work in process mula sa March 1. Total cost is 1150 plus 95,000. We get 106,050 pesos. Ang total units na to is 9,500 plus 1,000, that is 10,500. So, pag divide mo siya by 10,500, magkano yung unit cost? So, 106,050 divided by 10,500. We get 10 pesos and 10 centavos. So, write mo dito yung kanyang unit cost. 10,500 at 10 pesos and 10 centavos. Lagyan natin ng peso sign. What about March 31 na work in process? Ilang units ulit itong work in process March 31? Yan ay 500 units. Computin natin yung kanyang total cost. 500 units times yung work done during the month, 80%, times yung unit cost na na-compute mo dito mula sa taas, yan ay 10 pesos. So, 500 times 80% times 10, you get 4,000 pesos. Ang total cost accounted for mo would be 106,050 plus 4,000, 110,050. Dapat yan ay equal sa total cost to be accounted for, 110,050. So, equal naman. So, this is the cost of production report for Department A. Take note lang yung pagkakahanay ng mga columns. Ganito dapat ang kanyang appearance kapag gumawa na kayo ng inyong sheet work. Sumula dyan sa cost of production report. Gawa na tayo ng journal entries. So, balikan natin yung journal entry. Una muna yung mga factory costs na incurred during the month. So, for the month of March, lahat ng direct materials, direct labor, factory overhead, incurred yan throughout March. So, lagay na lang natin for simplicity, March 1 to 31. Entry would be debit work in process, inventory, Department A. Magkano? Yan yung total, which is 107,000. Credit yung, for direct materials, ang credit mo would be raw materials inventory. Magkano? 53,500. For direct labor, ang credit mo dyan is salaries and wages payable. Magkano siya? 21,400. And then for factory overhead, ang credit mo would be the manufacturing overhead account. $32,100. Description: to record factory costs for the month of March. Suppose natin sa work in process account ng Department A, March 1 to 31, 107,000. And then, during the month of March, ang natapos and na-transfer from Department A to Department B is total of 10,500 units. Ang total cost transferred out is 106,050 pesos. Entryan natin siya. So, March 31. Malilipat siya sa work in process, Department B. So, debit mo si work in process, Department B, 106,050. Credit mo naman si Work in Process Inventory Department A. 106,050. Description: to record cost of goods transferred out from Department A to Department B. So, post natin. Sa work in process, Department A, noong March 31. So, may transferred out na 106.50. So, 106,050 pesos. And then, for the work in process inventory Department B, merong nadagdag during the month of March, which is 106,050. Sorry, instead of March 31, lagay din natin to as March 1 to 31. Kasi na-complete siya during the month. We cannot ascertain kung kailan, but it happened during the month of March. So, work in process, Department B. Nadagdagan to ng 106,050 mula sa work in process, Department A. Yan yung na-transfer to Department B. So, March 1 to 31, 106,050 sa debit side. So, for the Department A, at the end of the month, magkano yung kanyang balance? Mas malaki yung debits, total ng debits kaysa sa credit. So, we have a debit balance of 110,050 minus 106,050, 4,000 pesos. So, accordingly, under Department A, sa susunod na month, which is April, itong ending na to, ito naman yung magiging work in process beginning April 1. And then, nagawa na natin itong cost of production report, saka equivalent production and journal entries. Yung last question, how much is the unit cost of the total units transferred out in each department? So, for Department A, na-compute na natin yan. Yan ay 10 pesos and 10 centavos para dun sa 10,500 units na completed and transferred out. So, next naman tayo, Department B naman. Department B naman tayo. Una muna, computein muna natin yung equivalent production under Department B. So, work in process, March 1. Under Department B, yan ay 2,000 units. And then, ano naman yung place in process ni Department B? Yan yung kanyang na-receive na units mula sa Department A. Yan, nakompute natin yan. Yan ay 10,500 units. Finished and transferred out mula sa Department A papunta sa Department B. So, for Department B, receive from preceding department. preceding department. 10,500 units. Units to be accounted for, total would be 2,000 plus 10,500. 12,500 units. Kunin mo naman yung equivalent production nitong 12,500. So, following FIFO, first in, first out. Yung unang mga cost na pinrocess coming from work in process beginning, sila yung unang matatapos. And then, any work in process ending, manggagaling yan dun sa na-receive or pinrocess during the month. Yung inumpisan pa lang during the month. Take note na itong work in process March 1, siya yung work in process ending ng February. So, nag-start yung production niya during the February. But at the end of February, hindi pa siya tapos. Kaya, work in process March 1 na siya. Kinary forward dun sa susunod na buwan. So, work in process March 1, finish, and transferred. $2,000 units. At the beginning of the month, siya ay 60% complete na. So, para matapos siya during the March, ilan na lang yung work done sa kanya? Yan ay 40%. 100% minus yung 60%. Ang equivalent production niya is 2,000 times 40%, 800 units. Punta naman tayo sa receive from preceding department, finish, and transferred. Ilan to? So, at the end of the month, for Department B, may natirang 700 units. Following FIFO, itong 700, nanggaling to mula dun sa received from preceding department. So, sa 10,500 na na-receive, ilan yung nasimulan at natapos sa parehong buwan? Yun ay 10,500 minus yung ending ng Department B, 700 units. We get 9,800 units. So, sinimulan siya March, natapos din siya March. So, ang work done sa kanya ay 100%. Kunin mo yung equivalent production, 9,800 times 100%, 9,800. And then, work in process, March 31, 700 units. Ilan yung work done sa kanya at the end of the month? So, since si work in process March 31, nagaling siya dun sa na-receive, sinimulan siya March pero hindi siya natapos. Ang work done sa kanya at the end of the month is 10%. So, write mo 10%. Kunin mo yung equivalent production ng 700 units. 700 times 10%, 70 units. Units accounted for 2,000 plus 9,800 plus 700, 12,500. So, dapat pareho siya dun sa units to be accounted for. Equal naman. And then, ang equivalent production mo is 800 plus 9,800 plus 70, 10,670 units. Now that we're done with the schedule of equivalent production, proceed naman tayo sa cost of production report for Department B. So, direct materials. Under Department B, for March, ang cost ng direct materials is 16,005 pesos. 16,005. Direct labor, 32,010. And then, factory overhead, yan ay 5,335. Kunin natin yung total. $53,350. And then, yung cost ng work in process March 1 under Department B is 25,020. Plus, yung cost from preceding department, ito yung nanggaling sa Department A. So, ang cost nung na-transfer sa Department B na 10,500 units ay 106,050. So, 106,050 pesos. Ang total cost to be accounted for mo would be 53,350 na total factory cost during the month, plus work in process beginning, plus cost from preceding department. We get 184,420. Kunin naman natin yung unit cost. So, yung factory cost mo na direct materials, direct labor, and factory overhead, divide mo siya by the equivalent production ng Department B. So, 10,670. So, divide by 10,670. We get the unit cost. So, 16,005 pesos divided by 10,670. 1.50. 32,020 divided by 10,670. 3 pesos. 5,335 divided by 10,670. 0.50 pesos. Total, so 1.50 plus 3 plus 0.50, we get 5 pesos. And then remember yung cost from preceding department, meron tong unit cost mula dun sa cost of production report ni Department A, which is 10 pesos and 10 centavos. So, pag dinivide mo to by the units transferred or na-receive ni Department B, units transferred from Department A to Department B, 10,500 units. So, ito divide by 10,500. We get 10.10. 10 pesos and 10 centavos. Ito siya. Then, let's get the total unit cost. ₱5 na unit cost mula sa factory cost incurred during the month, plus yung cost ng units from preceding department, we get 15 pesos and 10 centavos. Punta naman tayo sa cost accounted for. Dito na mag-appear yung mga units saka yung mga corresponding cost nila. Ilan yung finished and transferred mula sa Department B? Yan ay nanggaling mula sa work in process saka received from preceding department. So, ang total niyan is 11,800. Ang ibang paraan para makompute siya is kunin mo yung lahat ng units to be accounted, then subtract mo yung ending work in process na units. So, 11,800. Pareho lang siya. Total siya nung mula sa work in process beginning plus yung nagmula sa receive from preceding department, finish and transferred na 9,800. So, 11,800 units. Una muna yung work in process March 1, which is consisting of 2,000 units. Ang cost niya last month, 25,020. Plus yung cost added niya during the month. Magkano to? Compute natin siya. So, 2,000 units multiply by the work done during the month. Yan ay 40%. Multiply by the factory cost or factory unit cost during the month. Yan ay 5 pesos. Kuha tayo ng peso sign. So, 2,000 times 40% times 5 pesos. We get 4,000 pesos. Let's get the total. 25,020 plus 4,000. Ang total cost ng work in process beginning na natapos during the month is 29,020 pesos. What about yung receive, finish, and transferred? Ilang units siya? Yun ay 9,800 units. Cost from Department A, meron na tayo yan, 10 pesos, 10 centavos. So, compute natin, 9,800 units times 10 pesos, 10 centavos. So, 9,800 times 10.10. We get 98,980. Baba natin siya, hindi magkahanay. Ito dapat siya. So, cost from Department A, 98,980. What about naman from Department B? Compute natin. So, 9,800 multiply by the work done during the month. Yan ay 100%. Then times natin sa factory cost per unit during the month of March under ng Department B, 5 pesos. We get 9,800 times 100% times 5, 49,000 pesos. Ang total cost ng receive, finish, and transferred is 98,980 plus 49,000. We get 147,780. Ilan yung total cost transferred out? Add mo lang yung total cost ng work in process beginning plus yung receive, finish, and transferred. We get 177,000. Kunin mo yung unit cost. Ilan yung na-complete? 11,800. And yung total cost niyan is 177,000. So how much would be the unit cost? 177,000 divided by 11,800. We get 15 pesos. So ito ay 11,800 at 15 pesos. What about yung work in process March 31? Remember na, yung work in process March 31, nanggaling yan dun sa mga na-receive. Dito sa 10,500. 700 dyan, work in process March 31. So kung galing siya sa Department A, ibig sabihin din nun, meron na siyang cost from Department A. Plus, yung cost pa niya sa Department B. So, compute natin yon. For working process March 31 under Department B, ito ay consisting din ng cost Department A and Department B. Ilang units to? 700 units. So, cost from Department A, yan ay 10.10 centavos per unit. Compute natin, that would be 700 units times 10.10. Baba natin to para nakahanay siya sa cost Department A. So, 700 times 10.10. 7,070 pesos. Paano naman sa cost from Department B? Kung compute natin siya, 700 multiply mo sa work done during the month sa Department B, yan ay 10%. So, 10% times yung factory unit cost during the month, which is 5 pesos. We will get 100 times 10% times 5, 50 pesos. Mali. Dapat siya ay actual units, hindi dapat 100 to. 700 typo. 700 units times 10% equivalent production times 5 pesos. So ito ay dapat na 700 units times 10% times 5 pesos. 350 pesos. So ang total cost ng work in process March 31 under Department B would be 7,070 plus 350. That is 7,420. How much would be the total cost accounted for? Dapat ito equal yan dun sa total cost to be accounted for. Pag hindi yan nag-equal, ibig sabihin may mali ka. So, magagamit mo rin siya for checking. So, 29,020 plus 177,000 na total cost transferred out plus 7,420, we get 213,440. Hindi siya nagtutugma. May mali tayo. Hindi siya dapat plus 177,000. Kasi yung 177,000, total na siya nitong dalawa. So, dapat ang pinag-add lang natin is 177,000 na total cost transferred out plus yung work in process March 31. 184,420. So, dapat equal siya dito. Check natin. So, equal naman siya. So, check din natin yung Department A, equal din siya. So, remember na dapat equal tong total cost accounted for sa total cost to be accounted for. Kapag hindi yan nag-equal, ibig sabihin meron kang error. May mali ka. Either dito ka nagkamali sa taas or dito ka nagkamali sa baba. So, doon na tayo sa cost of production report ng Department B. Gawa na tayo ng journal entry. Since alam na natin yung total cost transferred out mula sa Department B. And since si Department B yung pinaka-last na processing department, yung mako-complete under ng Department B, mapupunta na sa finished goods inventory. So, for March, under Department B, yung mga factory cost na incur, ito siya, 16,000, 32, and 5,000. So, entryhan natin from March 1 to March 31. Debit, work in process, inventory, Department B. Magkano yung total? 53,350. Consisting siya ng direct materials, 16,005. So, credit tayo ng raw materials inventory. 16,005. For direct labor na 32,010, credit tayo ng salaries and wages payable, 32,010. 32,010. And then for factory overhead na 5,335, credit tayo ng manufacturing overhead. 5,335. Total dapat niya is 53,350. Description. To record factory costs for the month of March in Department B. Next na entryhan natin yung na-complete under Department B na napunta na sa finished goods inventory. So, dagdag tayo ng account title, finished goods inventory. So, finished goods inventory. So, what would be our journal entry? During March, magkano yung cost ng na-transferred out mula sa Department B? Yan ay 177,000. Consisting of work in process beginning plus yung 19,800 units na nanggaling sa na-receive from Department A. So, 177,000. Entry would be debit finished goods inventory 177,000. Credit mo yung work in process Department B. 177,000. Description. To record cost of goods manufactured. Post na natin siya sa the accounts. So, sa work in process Department B, nagkaroon ng additional posting mula sa factory cost during the month. So, remember, ito yung beginning. Ito siya, work in process beginning na cost, 2520. Ito yung na-receive mula sa Department A na cost, 106,050. Ito naman yung factory cost ng Department B during the month of March, 53,350. Ito dapat siya, yan. And then, during the month of March na natapos naman yung ilang units, 11,800 units. Ang cost niya is 177,000. Suppose mo yung credit sa work in process Department B. 177,000. Kunin natin yung ending balance ng work in process Department B as of March 31. Total ng debits, 184,420. Total ng credits, 177,000. Mas malaki yung total ng debits kesa sa total ng credits. So, we have a debit balance of 7,420. On the following month, sa April 1, itong work in process, March 31, ito naman yung magiging work in process April 1 on the following month. Remember, na-compute din natin yan dito sa cost of production report. 7,420. So, dapat magtutugma yung work in process ending mo na cost. 7,420, 7,420. Check din natin yung sa Department A. So, work in process na cost, March 31, na-compute natin, 4,000. So, dapat sa T account mo, yung work in process ending mo na balance, 4,000 din dapat. Tally dapat siya. Finished goods naman tayo. Merong debit sa finished goods mula sa cost of goods manufactured under Department B na 177,000. So, ang balance ng finished goods inventory at the end of the month would be 177,000. Since si transaction, wala naman siyang binigay na cost of goods sold, so hanggang dito lang tayo. Hanggang dito lang. So, we are done. Department A and Department B. Recap lang tayo. So, una, before kang gumawa ng journal entry, gagawa ka muna ng cost of production report. And necessary sa paggawa ng cost of production report is yung pag-compute ng equivalent production. So, equivalent production, nagre-refer siya dun sa amount ng work done dun sa total units accounted for during the month. And then after that, magagawa ka na ng cost of production report. Dito mo i-write down yung cost ng materials, direct labor, and factory overhead during the month, plus yung work in process beginning. Kapag second department yan, plus work in process beginning sa cost from preceding department. Makukuha mo yung total cost to be accounted for. And then yung total cost to be accounted for, i-list down mo siya into separate items. Work in process beginning, finish and transferred. Place in process, finish and transferred. Pag second department, yan ay receive, finish and transferred. And then yung work in process March 31. In terms of units, saka in terms of cost. Yung total cost accounted for mo, dito sa baba, dapat equal yan dun sa total cost to be accounted for. Kapag di yan equal, ibig sabihin meron kang mistake or error. Either dito sa taas or dito sa baba. Ganon din sa second department. Yung total cost accounted for, equal dapat yan sa total cost to be accounted for. So that's it for process costing under the use of the FIFO method.